The Greater Mystic Chamber of Commerce is back with another edition of Community Conversations. I'm with MAJAN. I want to say it right.
MAJAN.
MAJAN. I'm so bad at that stuff. MAJAN and EJ, who are owners of Favorites down in New London. And you guys just had a reopening ribbon cutting last week. So tell us a little bit about the restaurant and how you guys landed here, and how you got to this.
So I've always liked the restaurant business, not business, but I love restaurants, period. Like if I had to choose, I'd probably pick going to a restaurant than anything else.
So it's fair to say you like food.
I like food, yes. But I love the ambiance as well. It's the whole package for me. So we met this girl through, long story, and she told us she was working somewhere and how, she wasn't getting paid enough. She was doing all the work, the hiring, she was cooking. I said, well, why don't you open your own spot? And she said, oh, the finances. I said, well, you seem to know what you're doing. Let's just do it together.
Yeah.
And then she backed out. So we kind of just decided we're going to keep going anyway. But she was supposed to handle the restaurant part, and we were going to just do the, financing part.
Yeah.
And then, so that's how we ended up here. She found the space. She said, hey, there's a space in downtown. I said, okay, we'll look at it. We took it, but I think along the way, I don't know if her nerves got into it. It just got quiet. But we were already committed, so we just...
Wow, I mean, that's a great backstory and learning experience, right? Like, so you guys were kind of thrown into the fire, really had no restaurant experience at all. Mm-hmm. And tell us about the experience, how you managed and...
Go for it.
So, back when I was at Eastern, that's where I got my bachelor's. There's one professor who made an impression on me. She said, you can be the visionary, just hire the right people around you. So that's the approach that I took. We put an ad for a chef, and then Frank Grace came along. That was his return. And then we just found people. He brought on Sue, who trained the front of house. So that was just kind of like learning from everyone. I didn't do the interviewing. I really didn't know anything. The menu, I gave my input, but I just decided to be a fly on the wall because we wanted to be successful. But if I don't know, my input was kind of like almost not needed. It was needed to a certain extent. So I just kind of let everyone around me guide me. And the experience has been amazing. We've learned so much. I've done every job pretty much in the restaurant this far. Dishwasher, cook, host, server, but now I think I'm a decent line chef just from my menu. No one else's menu. Yeah. So it's definitely been
well. It seems like the pieces have fallen into place, and I know that you're kind of saying like they all kind of, but I'm sure it has to do with you guys. Like pieces just don't naturally fall into place, especially when there's chaos of the person who you brought on to kind of do all that, kind of backed out. So, do you have some from where you were then to where you are now? What are some of the biggest things either that you've learned or that were preconceived notions that have changed with what you've learned? You know what I mean? Like how
one of the biggest lessons I would say is just being able to see how you can build something even though you don't know what you're doing. And as the years go on, you just sort of figure it out, and somehow certain things become more natural. So the fear or the excitement you had in the beginning or the lack of knowledge, eventually you start figuring it out, and also realizing everyone started from somewhere. So who cares? You just do it. Once you commit and you just keep at it, I think the consistency or more the commitment, eventually you're gonna.
And do you trust yourself more?
Yes.
Right? Like before you were like, I'm not really sure if this is the right way, but as it starts moving along, you get more confidence in yourself and trust what you're doing. And also because you've learned, it continues to build up,
We've done that before, we're not doing it again.
3 years ago, if we knew what we knew now, I think we would have been better off, because I can actually put out some food, or even when I'm putting something on the menu, I have to think about, okay, well, can I reuse it somewhere else? And if the setup is too much or the plating is too much, we just got to scratch it, because now someone is waiting too long. But before then, I just wanted whatever, and I didn't realize how each component would affect, the entire process. Because with restaurants, I didn't realize, if you're a hairdresser, you're dealing with one person at a time. But with a restaurant, you need 5 people in the kitchen. The dishes need to be washed. You need the host to have a smile on their face. It's just to get one plate out and to make sure one person is happy. The whole team needs to be in sync.
Yes.
It
all
crazy.
interlocks. And I will say that, like, I say this now all the time. People have no idea how complicated it is and difficult it is to run your own business, never mind a restaurant, like a business itself, but then when you add the restaurant on top of it. So talk a little bit about favorites and the menu and like the food and the inspiration for that. And I know that you have the chef and I think your mom too.
Yes, my mom, definitely. So recently, I made something yesterday and someone came in, well, not yesterday, this week, and the guy said it doesn't taste the same. So he came back again. He ordered the same thing. He said it's good, but there's a difference. So my mom was here yesterday. I said, so I'll make sure my mom keeps making it and I got to learn.
Yeah.
But I think that the menu is not what people think it would be. I think sometimes people just think Caribbean food is just a big plate of, you know, what they're used to at a little takeout spot. But for us, it's the root. It's kind of like it's part of the prepping. It's the essence of the flavors or the aromatics. So the menu will showcase American classics, I would say. But that when you taste it, you'll say, oh, I've had short rib, but not like this.
Yeah,
or I've had a salmon, not like this.
Yeah, so like a little flair to it. Like a,
basically.
I like it.
Yeah, yeah. So,
and how much of the food on the menu was your mom's recipes? So
I would say when it comes to seasoning, so the big thing about people from the Caribbean, we season things. And it doesn't mean spicy or, you know, over seasoning. So I will say whatever we're making, we have this ipis, which is kind of like a sofrito in Spanish household. But that kind of goes through a lot of our food. So her influence is pretty much in not everything, but I would say at least 60% of the menu.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
And you guys have the benefit of being in New London, having this deck right here with the waterfront, and use that to your advantage. Definitely.
So we noticed that in the summer, no one sits inside. Everyone wants to be on the deck, and I didn't even realize how important it was or how impactful it was, but we would just put deck open and this guy came in. He manages, I believe, the Burlington complex, and he said the food was
wow. He saw us filming.
Feels like we're in a city. So the experience for him was he didn't expect the flavors, but the deck drew him in. So I think it's definitely an opportunity for people to just come in because there's a deck, and then the food comes later.
Yeah, but for sure people like that outdoor dining experience.
Yeah.
And it's a great look out here. And New London's up and coming.
Definitely.
With the Coast Guard Museum and everything happening. We see a lot of things happening down here, or good things happening, including this restaurant.
Yes.
So what is, I think you guys talked about your influences and you talked about what you've learned. If you had to go back 3 years ago and tell yourselves one thing that you could take, what would it be that you know what I mean, that you know now? Like a little inside information.
I guess it different from time to time. Someday, like how more funding, because we would have solved so many problems.
Yeah.
We would have to deal with certain things, you know. But having a coach on site, you know, somebody will skip stuff, you know.
I think one of the things that we've learned is compressing decades into hours. Like we really believe in personal development. So we whether paying for it or watching, because someone has done this before and they figured out so many things. So we are a big believer in learning so that you can flatten out the learning curve as much as possible. So I think that would have been the biggest thing, connecting more with people who have done it, just to avoid certain mistakes as much as possible, because some mistakes is just you're wasting time or money and just energy, period.
Yeah, I think that's one of the areas I think that like the chamber comes in handy if you use it right, because we have so many businesses and so many resources, and you know, business owners, they don't mind talking to each other and helping each other, you know? And maybe that's something for the future that, you know, there can be those kinds of resources or like quick questions that you can get information from other restaurant owners or other people in the business.
Yeah. Definitely. I think that's a plus.
Well, I want to thank you guys both for being a part of Community Conversations. We're going to wrap up another edition right now and encourage everybody to come down to Favorites down in New London and get lunch or dinner and enjoy. Thank you guys both.
Thank you so much.
All right.